It was very early in the morning, the streets clean and deserted. I was on my way to the station. As I compared the tower clock with my watch, I realized it was much later than I had thought and that I had to hurry. The shock of this discovery made me feel uncertain of the way. I wasn't very well acquainted with the town as yet. Fortunately, there was a policeman at hand. I ran to him and breathlessly asked him the way. He smiled and said, "You asking me the way?" "Yes," I said, "since I can't find it myself." "Give it up! Give it up!" said he, and turned with a sudden jerk, like someone who wants to be alone with his laughter. Yeah, it's kind of early for Kafka. That little parable of Kafka sums up how we felt at lectionary lunch on Thursday when we grappled with this parable. This is a hard parable. Sometimes Jesus doesn't make this job too easy, or your job either. And to beat it all, on Thursdays, Ralph Heilman's usually there, and he'll always say, "Well, what does Funky have to say about this?" And Funky is Dr. Funk, who leads the Jesus Seminar, who wrote a red letter edition Bible. Except he did it in the tradition of the original one, where what Jesus probably said is in red. And if you look through his 5 New Testaments, because he includes Thomas, you don't find much red. But guess what you got today? The whole thing's in red, to a point. Because even Luke is flummoxed by this gospel. And here's, it doesn't have it in your bulletin, it doesn't have the verse numbers, but once you get to 7a, that's the end of the parable. That's where Jesus stops talking. And I'll give you the clue where that is. And his master commended the dishonest manager because he had acted shrewdly. And that's where Jesus went quiet. So Luke, he can't handle that. There's got to be a moral. What? Dishonest? What? He commended? What? For the children of this age are more shrewd in dealing with their own generation than us righteous Christians. Make friends for yourself with dishonest wealth. That way, when it's gone, you can be welcomed into the... See, that doesn't even make sense. Welcomed into the eternal homes. What's that mean? Whoever is faithful in very little is faithful also in much. You'll really see what that's got to do with that. And if you've not been faithful with the dishonest wealth, who's going to entrust you with true riches? Okay. And if you've not been faithful with what belongs to another, who's going to give you what is your own? So if you really get flummoxed, you can always punt. And that's what Luke does at the end of this. You can't serve God and wealth. So there. But still, none of that, for me, in a satisfying way, explains or gets at what in the world Jesus is talking about here. Sometimes, especially with us professional holy people who pile on the religious degrees, we have a tendency to overthink these things. Maybe he's talking about being shrewd. That seems to be the point. The dishonest manager was very shrewd. He did it in a dishonest way, but that's distracting me if I get caught in moralism of dishonesty. What's going on is a shrewd act. Now I've just done something for you. I've just interpreted a parable. That's my interpretation. And one of the things I've learned in my experience with spiritual teachers is the ones that I could really trust are the ones who kept questions buzzing around in my head. And the ones who were really trying to play a game or manipulate me, I got the answer. Here, this is the way it's done. And in certainty, follow me. And I'll even show you answers to everything else that you want to know about. No, it's not that easy. What makes this parable exceptional is that I could probably read it again next week and the week after, and something else might stand out. Another interpretation will present itself. It'll pull me down a different point of view. Parables, really parables, they just don't have a simple answer. And the answer is not to give it up. For me, the answer is to listen to it. So if it is about being shrewd, to be shrewd, I have to be wise. To be wise, I have to be attentive. To be attentive, I have to be aware. To be aware, well then I need to be present. Present to myself, present to others, and present to God. That's what I got out of it. What kind of question does this parable raise for you today?